The Curse of the Wishful Princess. Once upon a time, in a kingdom wrapped in emerald hills and golden skies, there lived a noble queen and her only daughter, Princess Alara. As a child, Alara had been cheerful and kind. But as the years passed and she reached her 16th birthday, something within her heart began to change. She grew restless, ungrateful, and cold. The things that once made her smile no longer brought her joy. She found fault in everything and everyone. The queen, although gentle and wise, could not ease her daughter's heart, no matter how hard she tried. Days turned into weeks, and the castle, once filled with laughter, became quiet and heavy with sadness. One afternoon, Alara stood by the grand window of her chamber, gazing at the clouds drifting lazily in the sky. Below, a flock of black crows danced in the air, gliding freely over the treetops. With a sigh full of longing, she whispered, "I wish I were a crow. I would fly away from this life and never return." The moment those words left her lips, a sudden gust of wind swept through the room. A soft shimmer of light wrapped around her, and in the blink of an eye, she was no longer a girl. She was a crow. Her wings beat the air as she soared into the sky, away from the castle, the kingdom, and the mother who still waited at the window, unaware of what had just happened. Alara, now in the form of a crow, flew until she reached a deep and shadowy forest. The trees there were ancient, their trunks twisted, their branches knotted like the fingers of forgotten giants. She made her nest high in a crooked oak, her heart heavy with regret, though her voice could now only echo in cause. Many days passed until a kind traveler named Lorien entered the forest. He was a humble man with a brave heart, searching for herbs to heal his ailing father. As he wandered among the trees, he heard a strange and sorrowful cry. Curious, he followed the sound until he found the crow perched above him. To his astonishment, the bird spoke. "I am not truly a crow," she said in a soft, whispery voice. "I was once a princess, cursed by my own foolish wish. You, dear traveler, are the only one who can help me." Lorien blinked in surprise. "What must I do?" he asked, with a heart as open as the sky. The crow replied, "Go deeper into the forest. There, you will find a crooked house with red smoke curling from its chimney. A woman lives there, old and clever. She will offer you food and drink, but do not eat, do not drink. If you do, you will fall into a sleep too deep to wake. Only by resisting her can you break the spell and return me to my true form." Lorien nodded and followed the path until he came upon the house exactly as she had described. The door creaked as he entered. Inside, a wrinkled woman with sharp eyes and silver hair welcomed him. "Oh, poor boy," she said sweetly. "You look so tired. Sit, rest. Let me bring you something warm to fill your belly." He shook his head. "Thank you, but I must keep going. I cannot stay long." Yet the woman insisted, again and again, until finally, Lorien accepted a single sip of water. The moment the cool liquid touched his lips, he felt his limbs grow heavy. His thoughts blurred. He staggered to the garden and collapsed onto a patch of moss beneath a tree. His eyes closed, and no matter how hard he tried, they would not open again. That night, under the moon's soft gaze, the crow returned. Her wings flapped gently as she landed beside him. "I knew this would happen," she said sadly. "But still, I had hoped." The next morning, by some miracle, Lorien stirred. The forest, perhaps moved by his honest heart, had not let the spell last forever. Determined, he stood and walked deeper into the woods, where he found a second house, small and odd-looking, with vines growing all over its roof. Beside the house stood a giant, taller than any tree. He scratched his head and yawned. When the giant spotted Lorien, he roared, "I'm starving, and you, little one, look like a tasty snack." Lorien stepped forward bravely. "Please, don't eat me. I have food, real food, enough for you and more." He reached into his bag and offered bread, roast meat, and sweet wine. As the giant ate, Lorien shared stories of his journey, of the cursed princess and the hidden castle he needed to find. The giant listened, and once his belly was full, he smiled kindly. "I like you," he said. "Let me help." The giant fetched a dusty old map, then another, and finally a third from the top of a hill, where a room full of ancient scrolls was hidden. After much searching, they found it. Stromer Castle, hidden beyond the Crystal River. Lorien thanked him and continued his quest. One afternoon, he came upon 3 young men arguing in a clearing. Each held something magical. "I found a golden staff," the first cried. "Touch it to any door, and it will open without a key." "I have a cloak," said the second. "Wear it, and no one can see you." "And I," shouted the third, "tamed a flying horse that can soar through the skies." Lorien watched as the 3 argued about who deserved the greatest treasure. Quietly, while they quarreled, he took all 3 enchanted items and slipped away unseen. Soon, he reached the gates of Stromer Castle, sealed shut for centuries. With a touch of the golden staff, the gates creaked open. Wearing the cloak, he moved through the silent halls like a breeze, unseen by anyone. At last, he found the grand ballroom, where the crow stood alone, sipping from a golden goblet. She looked lost in thought, her eyes full of sorrow. Lorien stepped close and dropped a silver ring into the goblet. It clinked softly. The crow froze. "That sound, that ring, it's mine. Could he be here?" She looked around but saw no one. Her heart fluttered. As Lorien turned to leave, he tossed the invisible cloak to the floor. In that moment, she saw him. Her eyes filled with tears. "You came for me," she whispered. He smiled, "and I would do it again." With a gentle flash of light, her feathers fell away, and she became Princess Alara once more, no longer cursed, no longer ungrateful. Lorien took her hand. "Will you come with me? Will you build a new life, not as a bird in the sky, but as a queen beside me?" She nodded, and together they rode the magical horse into the sun-kissed horizon. Moral of the story: be careful what you wish for. Often, our greatest treasures are already around us. Listen to those who love you, for their words come from the heart, not from control. Gratitude turns even an ordinary life into something magical.